This is truly the day that the gourd hath made. Spider-Man No Way Home gave me closure I did not know that I needed. This film understood Spider-Man better than any film before it, including those in this trilogy. It was truly a sight to behold. I do not know if it was a good film, but it was an incredibly fun film, and absolutely the greatest theatrical experience I have ever had in my entire goddamn life. I saw it in 3D because those were the only tickets left right now on opening day. I normally think 3D is a dumb gimmick that doesn't enhance a film, but the visuals of this were pretty spectacular. I actually kind of wished I would have seen Spider-Man Far From Home in 3D because of those Mysterio visuals would have looked great in 3D. But wow, the visuals were really enhanced by the 3D. I am not going to lie, my guy. Everyone in the theater was incredibly respectful, dead silent the whole time, no phones. There were two kids sitting right in front of me. Neither of them made a peep. This was truly incredible. Better than when I saw Antlers. Better than when I saw Endgame. Better than when I saw Shin Godzilla or Godzilla 2014. Or when I even saw GVK. This was the greatest cinematic experience of my life. Hi everyone, I'm V3, and welcome to a movie reaction review of Spider-Man No Way Home, baby! Welcome, welcome. That was the non-spoiler review. That was the non-spoiler review. We are now headed into the spoiler review. That's where we're headed. Picks up the second Far From Home, Far From Home's, what was it, mid-credit? I haven't seen Far From Home since it was in theaters, believe it or not. The mid-credit scene, I think, where J. Jonah Jameson doxes Spider-Man. Yeah, picks up right there. Really fucks up his whole life. Things go buck wild. He messes up Doctor Strange's spell to fix it, which causes, instead of everyone to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, it causes everyone who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man in the multiverse to get drawn to their dimension, which is infinite people. We get Electro. We get the Lizard, Sandman, Green Goblin, Dr. Otto Octavius. We get them all, my boo. So now we know, I guess, why Venom was teleported in. But we'll talk about that later, because it doesn't actually make sense. It is a plot hole. It's absolutely a plot hole. So, we kind of just get fucked right away. Villains are showing up. Doctor Strange kind of gives Spider-Man something to help catch him. We get a lot of great scenes between like MJ and Ned, and just everything. The acting is really good. There's so much chemistry between our little friend group, the three leads. You know, Ned, Peter, MJ, just such great chemistry between the characters and actors. Really, truly, there is. And I love it. I really do. You know, William, Alfred, Jamie. I'm on a first-name basis with all these actors. They were just on point. Sandman and Lizard were a little lacking. Believe it or not, they gave Electro a lot more attention than you would expect. But there was a lot of marketing around Electro, so I expected that going in. But, you know, if someone told you, hey, Electro kind of, you know, they give him a lot of attention, you'd be like, why? But they do, and Electro gets his hands on an arc reactor, which is kind of a no-brainer idea. I don't know why I didn't expect that going in. When it happened, I was like, of course. That makes so much sense. That's so cool. But Doctor Strange wants to send them all back to their worlds, even after finding out that they'll be killed. They'll die fighting Spider-Man when they do. And Peter's like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. So we get this wild kind of magic versus science fight that Spider-Man wins. It was dope. Oh my god. What a fantastic film. The 3D in that fight in the mirror dimension was like, I was glad I had these puppies, let me tell you. God, oh my god, I'm actually just looking at the screen for the first time. I've kind of been staring off into space. I look fucking terrible. God, I am Alan Moore's son, except I'm enjoying corporate comics. Wow. So, it's not really the Sinister Six. I might refer to them as that, but it's not really the Sinister Six. It seems like we don't even really know what Lizard wants. Does the Lizard want to go back home? Does the Lizard, like, does he want to stay? It's not super clear what the Lizard wants. Electro wants to stay because the energies in this world are different, which does make sense. It vibrates on a different frequency and everything. So he gets his physical body back because the energies of the world work differently. That was a very hand-wavy, comic booky explanation for things. And I was fine with that. I was very fine with that. I don't care. Especially when there's so many villains. And they got more attention than you expect. Sandman wants to go back, but is working with the villains that don't? It's very odd. Goblin seems to not want to go back, but he's so crazy that he just wants to cause chaos. And then they cure Doc Ock. They fix the AI. They fix the chip, and they like give it a containment thing. So he's able to use his tentacles the way they were intended, and the AI isn't like messing with his mind and stuff anymore. He's fine. He's fine now. He's fine. Which was good. It was nice. It was nice to see that, because Toby and Andrew were there, of course. We all knew they would be. When Andrew stepped through that portal, the whole audience orgasmed. Like, that sounds like an exaggeration, but I could feel it in my body when he walked through that portal. It was like, orgasm just means build-up and release of pressure. And there was a build-up of pressure, and then there was a release of pressure. 100% there was. And the noises the audience made, they were orgasmic, truly. And then there was actually less of a reaction for Toby than there was Andrew, and I think that's just because Andrew came through first. Because when Andrew came through, the audience knew Toby was going to do the same, right? So I think that's why Toby got less of a reaction, because when they were reacting to the appearance of Andrew Garfield, they were also reacting to the appearance of Tobey Maguire. Watching the three Spider-Man interact was fantastic. There's this scene, like, at the Statue of Liberty when they're waiting on the Sinister Six, quote-unquote, to arrive, and they're just having this spider banter, and it's magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. Holy shit. So, they fight the villains. They cure them all. They get the Goblin formula out of Osborn's system. So, you know, his dual personality's gone. His super abilities are gone. He's just Norman Osborn again. He still has a lot of mental healing to do, but he's he's Norman again. I already kind of explained how they helped Doc Ock. They drained the electricity from Electro, and if you saw, like, Electro had a lot of mental issues before he became Electro. Max, I believe is his name, yes. So, you know, he still has a lot to work through, I believe. Sandman, his powers were gone, but they didn't really focus much on Sandman. In fact, they kind of had to force him into the villain role again, because, remember, he kind of ended up not getting, I don't want to say reformed, but it's odd. So Sandman, they cured him, and then they sent him home. All he wanted to do was go home to see his daughter, but at the end of Spider-Man 3, you kind of don't get the sense that he's ever really gonna see his daughter again. I don't know. Don't know. And then Curt Connors, they just zap him. They get the lizard out of him. They just get the lizard out of him. Also, so Sandman doesn't die fighting Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3, and I don't think Curt Connors dies at the end of I haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man in years, so I don't remember if Curt Connors dies or not. I honestly don't. But, so, there's this whole thing where it's like, they all die fighting Spider-Man. If we send them back, they'll die. And it's like, they don't all die fighting Spider-Man. But they do all deserve a second chance. That's what the movie is about. The movie is about second chances and forgiveness and things like that. And a lot of that comes in the form of Aunt May, who delivers the line, "With great power must also come great responsibility." So, a comic book accurate version of the iconic line. But when she said it, I was like, wait. Uncle Ben told that to Peter, and every time he ever has, he's died. There's no Uncle Ben in this trilogy, and Aunt May just said it to Peter, and he was hearing it for the first time. Which means, in my mind, I was like, they wouldn't, right? They wouldn't do that to us. They did. They killed Aunt May. And it was quite the scene. Not much of an audience reaction when they killed Aunt May. Not gonna lie, there was not much of a reaction at all. The audience barely reacted the whole film. They reacted a little when Doc Ock and Goblin showed up, and when the Spider-Men showed up, they flipped their lid. But the audience was a very respectful, good audience. I was very happy. I was one of the louder ones, and that is something that doesn't happen, because I'm very quiet in movies. And I was like, so that's very rare for me. They did kill Aunt May. Our mid-credit scene, I just skipped the ending. I think I might be dumb. So in order to fix this, because Goblin, once again, he just wants to cause chaos. So he blows up the device that's keeping the spell that brings anyone who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man into the universe at bay. He blows up the containment for it. And then wormholes start opening up. And we kind of see silhouettes of characters like Rhino and etc. But not the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Rhino, like a different Rhino and other Spider-Man villains and characters and stuff. And I didn't really catch, I think I caught like two. I caught like two of them. So I'd really like to, in the future maybe, when this is out on Blu-ray, like pause it and try to pick out characters and whatnot. But there is a way to fix it. And the way to fix it is make the entire world not forget Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but forget that Peter Parker ever existed. Happy, Ned, MJ, Doctor Strange, the Avengers, all of them have to forget that Peter Parker was ever a person. The world remembers Spider-Man, and there are still a lot of people who believe he murdered Mysterio, and there are a lot of people who believe that he wouldn't do such a thing still. It's still very split. Most seem to believe Mysterio. But it seems like they're really going friendly neighborhood street level with this. Seems like they're really going friendly neighborhood street level with this. Because he does make that big sacrifice. The whole world forgets him. His best friend, his girlfriend. Which means he now has to get his GED, for one thing. It did show that, because there's like no record of him existing. He has to become a person. He can't graduate high school because he can't attend high school because the high school has no record of him. So he's trying to get his GED. He gets a tiny little apartment. And then he makes his own suit right out of the comics. Like, literally right out of the comics. I know I've said that about some suits before, but there's always a bit more detail in these live-action suits. No, this is just like straight-up copy and paste comic suit. Seriously. So everyone goes back to their own dimension, but everyone forgets him, and he has to start his life all over as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And we'll just see what happens. And they played Jonah JJ up like Alex Jones, which is pretty funny. Because at first he was a conspiracy theorist in his basement, but then he broke the news about Spider-Man and got his own like legit show selling Daily Bugle vitamins. Like, he's Alex Jones. So funny. So funny. And of course, JJ was great. I mean, come on. Come on. We all knew. We all knew what to expect with Jameson. But that was the film. I mean, there were even some memes in there. I'm something of a scientist myself, and the My Back meme were in there. Both of them. And they were in there in little fun ways that didn't, like, hurt the story. The I'm something of a scientist myself meme was inserted very organically, and the My Back one was in a fun way that was just part of the spider banter. Just seeing all three Spider-Men get to know each other was magnificent. It was absolutely magnificent. Truly it was. What an incredible film. Our mid-credits scene was Venom learning about the world and then getting sent back with the spell. Here's the thing, though. There's no Peter Parker Spider-Man in his world, so why was he brought through with the spell? There's no reason. The only reason is to introduce Venom into the universe, but then they make Venom bounce, and you see that he like left a little glob of black goo on the counter and it starts to crawl away. So that puts a symbiote in the universe. But Venom's not like in the movie. It's the mid-credit scene. We don't even see him turn into Venom. It was kind of a cheap... It was cheap and dumb. We had that after credit scene in Venom 2 where Tom Hardy got drawn into the universe and then he gets sent right back. But it doesn't make sense because he doesn't know who Peter Parker is. Which is... Isn't that the prerequisite of getting pulled through in the spell? That's what Doctor Strange said. So, then all those people got sent back. So why did he show up and get sent? There's no explanation. It's... Why? Why? There's no reason. We could have had a Venom without it being connected to the Tom Hardy Venom verse. We could have. But... I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it. They probably won't. It was just some BS. That was the only thing I didn't like in the whole movie. That was the only thing I didn't like. I'm pretty high on it. I'm actually in the movie theater parking lot still, right meow. And then, instead of an end credits scene, we got a kind of special preview for The Multiverse of Madness, and I was like, I held my urine in for this. I had to pee twice after the movie. Like, I peed, and then I had to pee again in like a minute, because I held my urine in that long, because I had a huge-ass slushie, which I finished before the film started, because the trailers were 30 goddamn minutes long. So many, there's too many trailers on films now, guys. You gotta cut it back. There's just too many. Every time I go to the theater, it's like there's 10 trailers, and that's not even an exaggeration. There's so fucking many trailers. And then this movie itself was over 2 hours. So it was a 3 hour. I sat there for 3 hours. I would have had to pee if I didn't drink anything, right? Long. That was kind of partially my fault, but also, holy shit, cut back the trailers a little bit, guys. So going into this, I was kind of expecting a Hobgoblin tease. There was even a moment in the film where I was like, there are a couple moments, because Dafoe breaks his mask, and it's like, oh shit, is Ned gonna find that mask? And they're like working with Goblin formula stuff, and it's like, oh, is Ned gonna get Goblin formula? And I'm waiting, because you remember that actor got like fit. He did get fit. And I was like, okay, and his name is the name of a Hobgoblin. I want to see what happens. This universe doesn't have its own Goblin, and we've done Green Goblin 3 times, so maybe, hey, actually 4 now, counting this film, so maybe let's go for Hobgoblin this time. Wow. And then he finds out that the other 2 Peters' best friends turned into supervillains and tried to kill him. And then he kind of has this emotional moment, and it's like, is that what starts the path to Goblin, this moment? But then he kind of gets over it immediately. And it's like, oh, I guess that didn't mean anything. It kind of was bad how he just kind of forgot about it. That's not the best writing, admittedly. If it would have been played up just for laughs and wasn't trying to look kind of sad, I would have got it, but like the sadness lingered for a bit, and then it was just gone. Like as soon as he had to do something, it didn't work. It didn't work. Sorry to say. And then, of course, Ned forgot he existed. The whole world forgot Peter Parker existed. So all my Ned Hobgoblin stuff went out the window as soon as that happened, you know? But there's opportunities. We're definitely going to get a symbiote in the future trilogy, which has been confirmed. In the future trilogy, I'm hoping for 3 villains. I am hoping for a symbiote. I'm so pro symbiote, dude. Give me symbiotes all the time. I love them. They're like my favorite thing in Marvel, period. So symbiotes, give them to me. All of them. Hopefully it's not one called Venom. Maybe we can do something else. Maybe we can do a Mac-Gargan Venom, because Mac-Gargan's been established, and it's been established he wants Spider-Man out. So if they did Mac-Gargan Venom, full-on cannibalistic monster Mac-Gargan Venom, I'd be super down for that. Because as far as the villainous Venoms in the comics go, Mac-Gargan actually is my favorite, because he was the one that was a true monster. Like, just a true, horrific, people-eating monster. So I'd really like that. And maybe even move on into Agent Venom at some point. I don't want this universe's Flash Thompson to be Agent Venom, but maybe like an original character could be Agent Venom, because I don't think this Flash would... I don't see that happening. Maybe Agent Venom is something that would happen in the Venomverse instead of this. That, you know, that actually makes more sense. Save Agent Venom for the Venomverse if you want to kill off Eddie Brock or have him retire at some point. Yeah, don't use Agent Venom here. Another thing I think I would really like to see in the next trilogy is Kraven the Hunter. I know they said they were going to give him a solo film, which would probably mean he'd be in the Venomverse, but I kind of want to see him fight Spider-Man. I really like Kraven, okay? I want to see also Hobgoblin, which I just said. It doesn't have to be Ned. I just want a Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin is my favorite of the goblins. I want a Hobgoblin. Can I have a Hobgoblin, please? That way, this Spider-Man can have his own Goblin that isn't another Spider-Man's Goblin, but we don't get Green Goblin for the 5th time, right? Actually, 6th time, because isn't Ultimate Green Goblin in Into the Spider-Verse? This is the 6th time we've gotten Green Goblin. That just hit me like a truck. I need to rewatch Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't watched any of the teasers for the next one, but I am ready for Spider-Man. In the upcoming Spider-Man trilogy, I want more Spider characters. I'm thinking Ghost Spider. Huh? Spider-Gwen? I'm thinking Ghost Spider would be a good thing, because we haven't seen this universe's Gwen Stacy, if there even is one. The last 2 universes had a Gwen Stacy. So if we have a Gwen Stacy in this universe, we could have an in-universe Spider-Gwen. That could be a new love interest for Peter, since MJ has forgotten he exists. That could be a big struggle with him. And a new Spider-Gwen that's grounded to the MCU would be great. That would be fantastic. I would love that. Spider-Woman, I think, would be cool in the MCU, but I don't think she needs to spin out of Spider-Man. She's very much her own character, and she doesn't really need Spider-Man to exist, which is a cool thing about her. But Spider-Gwen, I think, is something that the new trilogy could really do, and then, of course, give her her own film. You know, Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen. Anything else I want? I'd really like Kane's Scarlet Spider, but I really don't want the Clone Saga. I can't have them both, so I guess I'll pass on Kane. I mean, you could have them both. You could just make a new origin for him or something, or make a Clone Saga that isn't shitty. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. Scorpion, I guess, would be cool, but I'd rather see him be Venom. And that's where I feel like it's maybe going. And I hope so. But that is my review with, almost 30 minutes. I knew it would be. For Spider-Man No Way Home. Fantastic. I really loved it. As I said, it gave me closure I didn't know I needed. I feel like my childhood has actually really completed. And I didn't know, I didn't realize how much I needed to see Andrew again. Because he didn't get a full trilogy. There wasn't really, it didn't feel like he got what he deserved. Were the Amazing Spider-Man movies bad? Yes. I actually rather enjoyed the first one, to be completely honest. Even though it is bad. And then the second one's just garbage. But he himself and the character did deserve more than they got. It was nice to see them. It was nice to see just Toby, period. The internet loves that Tobe! And I can't wait to see Spider-Man's adventures in the future. You know, I'm not really going to see any MCU films in theaters these days unless they're Spider-Man or Avengers. Because I've been a Spider-Man boy my whole life, and the Avengers will get spoiled for you in like 30 minutes if you don't see it on opening day. Which is one of the reasons I'm here. Lucky I could snag a ticket. I normally wouldn't have chose 3D, but I'm very glad I did. Anyways, that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. If you grew up on Spider-Man like I did, this will be something you need. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time.